So this is called, we have drilling fist, splitting fist, and then crashing fist.
Yeah.
So boom, so you have boom, boom, boom. So let's see what it's like. You punch me.
Oh.
Like so a little bit slower. So this is, you see how this right here makes them go off balance. Punch me, give a good punch. Like that. So that has a yang energy that makes them go off balance. Right. And we have float and we have sink. So our first uppercut, can we make it float? Yeah.
Yes.
So you punch me, float. So that would be more Tai Chi-like, right? So you punch. So I have this float, and he's a little bit off balance. Then we have sink, like that. And then once we have that, we have the fusion of the yin and yang. So we have sink, and then we have the last strike. 180, so it goes like this. And then pop, pop, pop. All right, thank you for helping me with this discussion. So the question was, how do you combine different styles to make an effective system, right? And so I think all of us who are martial art nerds, we practice a martial art, and we also dabble in different kind of things, and we enjoy different aspects of different martial arts. So it's pretty normal to want to use all of it, right? So how do you make that work? Some styles combine well, and some don't. I'm going to discuss why and how. And it's totally valid, because actually even the styles that we learn today, most of the time the Chinese martial arts or other martial arts you do already are synthesized from multiple different backgrounds that the different masters had. It's very rare where someone who never did a martial art became enlightened and developed a martial art out of thin air that wasn't based on anything else, that didn't combine elements of different things, right? So people have these ideas all the time. And the styles we learn today are combined styles that survived the test of time, meaning they probably didn't suck, they probably were successful, they became popular, and so forth. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to say that it is valid to make combined arts, because the arts that you think of as pure are probably also combined. So there's two ways to combine martial arts. One is naturally, coincidentally, evolutionarily, and the other is by your knowledge and understanding. So by naturally, I mean, if you practice a martial art, so what's a martial art you've done before?
Kickboxing.
Kickboxing, yeah. And then now we're doing some Tai Chi, right? And you have your kickboxing in the back of your mind, or the front of your mind, and then we do some Tai Chi, and then we spar. And your sparring looks a little different from mine, and after a while, something emerges that is neither exactly kickboxing or Tai Chi. If you ask someone watching, what is he doing? So it looks kind of like kickboxing. It looks kind of like Tai Chi. If it's kind of like both, then you've naturally combined the style, right? Or if it looks like both at the same time, or neither one exactly. So it could just naturally arise. The other is by knowledge and understanding. What do you have to understand about the styles to make them combine? What do you think?
If there's a way that they can connect on common ground.
Yeah, and what is a way they connect on common ground? That's really crucial.
In Wing Chun, they would probably call it a bridge.
A bridge? Mm-hmm.
Or some kind of contact point of crashing in.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of styles converge.
So like tactically, they have to be congruent. Okay, yeah, tactically. And along with tactically, their intention has to be congruent. So if one style wants to be really far and one style wants to be really close, they won't really be synthesized. You'll just kind of switch between them when the situation arises. But to be one fluid style, like Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do or something like that, they have to have a similar tactic, right? So you have to understand that the tactics are harmonious. The other is that what we call the coordination, the power, the engine of the systems have to be consistent. So like Muay Thai has a particular type of way that they relax and pull their body around, right? And then like Taekwondo has a totally different way of throwing the weight around. And so you can't do both of those things at the same time. You can't really harmonize that very well. Does that make sense? And so you have to pick two systems in which the movements of one style can be done with the engine, the coordination of another style. So that's to say, you might be able to do like a particular Taekwondo kick, but with the way that Muay Thai uses their body weight. Then it would look like neither one. You might actually combine something like that. But you can't keep both engines. You could keep one engine that fits the moves of the other. Like cars. You have a car, you want to swap in the engine. If it fits,
Right.
it'll work, right? And the other is if the two styles use the same or similar engine in the first place. Does that make sense? So, for example, the way you use your hips in Muay Thai and the way you use your hips in boxing, that can be compatible. So you see that some Thai fighters are great strikers, and some great boxer can learn some Muay Thai and so forth. So that works, right? And so in Chinese martial arts, we have the internal art, Tai Chi, Xingyi, Bagua, and then he originally came to my class wanting to learn Xingyi. Right? Texted me, said, "Hey, do you teach Xingyi?" I was like, "Yes, come on in." And then bait and switched him. We like 99% of the time do Tai Chi. Are you resentful at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
You could appreciate it even more.
Yeah. But I think I owe it to him for all the times that he gets tossed around to show him a little bit of what he came here for, a little bit of Xingyi. So that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, so Xingyi is based on the 5-element boxing. Okay, so I learned it when I was young from the Guan, and their form is particularly young, particularly expansive and powerful. Okay, so the first couple of movements it goes like this: 1, 2, like that. Okay, so we have an uppercut, so to speak, and this hand pierces forward and presses down. Yeah, this is like a palm strike and a downward chop at the same time, and then we have a follow-in fist. Yeah. So this is called, we have drilling fist, splitting fist, and then crashing fist. Okay. So if you face me, right, and you come and punch me, let's say this time for camera's sake. So we have a drilling fist, which is kind of like a check, and then we have a splitting fist, which hits, and we have a third fist, which hits. Let's see what it's like. You punch me. Ooh. Like that. So a little bit slower. Come. So this is, you see how this right here makes him go off balance. Punch me, give a good punch. Like that. So that has a yang energy that makes him go off balance. Okay. So after that, this has a downward energy. Boom. And he gets pulled forward. And this chops forward at the same time. So this is coming back. This is going forward. So come. See? Like that. So he kind of falls into this hit. And maybe he blocks it, maybe he gets hit. But then right away we step in and we have this third hit. And that's going to be very powerful. If you put your hand like this, line it up like this movement, see? Boom. It's going to be a strong fajin that goes through them. Okay, so that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So boom, so you have boom, boom, boom. And they all, in the classical Guan Xingyi Quan, Northern Hebei Xingyi Quan, each move is big, expansive, and full of yang energy like that. There's other schools of Xingyi that are more curvy, more spirally and so forth, but this one is basically bam, 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 okay? So what would that look like if we combine that with Tai Chi?
I'm having a time, trying to synthesize it to my head, but I'm sure there's a way.
So let's plug in the Tai Chi engine. So instead of this yang, yang, yang engine, what do we have in Tai Chi? We have yang and yin also, right? And we have float and we have sink. So our first uppercut, can we make it float? Yeah,
yes.
So you punch me, float. So that would be more Tai Chi-like, right? So you punch, so I have this float, and he's a little bit off balance, then we have sink, like that. And then once we have that, we have the fusion of the yin and yang. So we have sink, and then we have the last strike. What's that like?
You just launched me like nothing.
Yeah. Is it just like the Xingyi before?
No.
No, a little bit different,
it's
right?
It's a Tai Chi engine.
It's a Tai Chi engine. It feels a little bit softer, perhaps.
Yes.
Right. It doesn't have the same sort of like snappiness, perhaps. But does it keep kind of the same geometries?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're keeping the same moves. We're keeping the same frame and the shape of the car, but we swapped in the engine. So instead of pure yang engine, we have this yin-yang flow sync engine. And so
when would you turn the switch from the floating, the Tai Chi aspect of it versus the yang snapping?
Oh, when would I switch it?
Yes.
When I'm not racing, if we're talking about cars. So, between races. Because it takes a moment to switch mentality and switch engine. It's like shifting gears, takes a moment in time. If you're really good at, you could do it faster.
Maybe to clarify, when would you use one over the other?
Oh.
I can see okay, you want me to launch this way because there's another threat.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
That's a good
what I felt
point.
Like, I'm like, okay, now I'm like, hey, what just happened?
I could think of a few reasons. One is like, maybe if I just want to throw you really far, I might do the Tai Chi way. And if I just want to like leave a big bruise on you, maybe I'll just do the Xingyi way. That depends on how much I like you. Are you like my mortal enemy or my drunk cousin? So maybe like that. But probably you would use what you're best at, right? So this is a thought experiment, plugging Tai Chi into Xingyi. Is it better than Xingyi? Probably not, because otherwise it probably would evolve that way, so to speak, right? I don't know if it's better than Xingyi or not, but is it fun? Yeah, if I love Tai Chi and I want to explore playing with Tai Chi in different ways, I might explore playing into different martial arts and see how it affects it. Like how we often experiment with how the Tai Chi principles work in ground fighting. That's me experimenting with what can I do with this engine beyond what other people have done with it, before today, right? So it could be fun. Just like, in cooking, you might have your favorite ingredients, or if you make drinks, you have your favorite ingredients. You might just try it on different combinations, see what happens. So it can just be fun. Whether it's effective or not, you have to do a lot of testing. A lot of testing against different styles, different scenarios, find your shortcomings. Because the styles we learned today, like I said, that were combination from arts before, those masters have already tested it against a bunch of other super skilled fighters and have honed it for us. Our system, my Tai Chi Xingyi, is definitely not as refined as that. It's fun. We're exploring, and it can improve my understanding and skill. And I encourage people to do things that they find fun and engaging, because that motivates you to deepen your exploration, your skill. So once again, we've taken a float from Tai Chi, right? A sink from Tai Chi, and like a Ji, like a forward expansive energy in Tai Chi, to plug into these three movements to replace the original yang, yang, yang of the Xingyi. But they each have their own appeal, right? Do you have any questions about it?
So it's like, looks like one is like really power driven, and then the other's more like you're going to conserve energy, or you don't want to harm someone.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Yeah, you don't want to harm someone in that same abruptness. Yeah, I don't know if you conserve energy, because I think the masters of Xingyi can do this all day long.
Oh, okay, without.
Yeah, because there's a master named Guo Yunsheng, and he is famous for this move, right? And I think he had to walk a kilometer to get to his teacher's school every day. And so he would do that for a kilometer every day and show up to class and then train and then do that going home. And he was really good at it, obviously. Okay. So obviously you can do it while conserving and being very efficient with your energy use.
So this is a thought experiment. So
yeah,
both masters, one Tai Chi Chuan high level, the other Xingyi, and this is a reach. Who would win?
I'm biased towards Tai Chi, so
there
I'm going to vote for Tai Chi.
There it is.
I have no proof of that, but okay. That's what I'm going to put my vote ballot into.
Perfect.
Yeah. So in the Guoshu Guan, right, the internal arts division, right, was headed up by the Tai Chi master. So, well, actually, no, he's a master of Tai Chi and Xingyi, so that throws my thesis out the window for there. Well, my vote is my vote.
It'll be interesting to see what that looks like. One is forward pressure, looks like very linear.
Yeah.
But the
other... that's just the style that I showed.
Oh, the style. Okay.
A lot of styles out of Tianjin, China, they are very agile. And one of the headmasters of the Guoshu Guan Academy, Sun Lutang, he was known as the Pharaoh monkey because he was just all over the place. Oh, okay, so he would be like, boom, boom,
oh,
and
wow.
then,
okay.
boom, boom. Oh. He's like all over the place, so really hard to pin him down. So it's not just forward pressure.
Okay.
His favorite technique was monkey form. Okay, so it's a monkey offers fruit, climb down, hops like that. So that in use, let me just show. So you come and punch me. So he comes here, okay, and then I don't spin 180, so he goes like this. Oh, and then pop, pop, pop. So what happened there in slow-mo, you punch, from here, there's actually a big angle change like this. And then we hit like that. But, that's compatible with Tai Chi too. Tai Chi in push-ins has a basic pattern called Da Lu, large rollback. And that's like this. You punch me, So we go like this, and we spin them, and then we continue. You know, that's pretty similar, actually. So you could swap those energies around. You could do it, I could do ward off, splitting, see, like this, like that, right? And then versus the Xingyi way, I have the drilling, and then the cooling back to the like this. So different engines, same kind of movements, similar trajectories and results.
Feels like it's an arm break too.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable on the arms. So that's funny you bring it up. So that's a cool, another example of how these two styles can be merged, or how you might mix their energies and coordination.
Xingyi came first, is that correct, Sifu?
Xingyi is the older art, yeah.
Okay.
Goes back a couple hundred years more than Tai Chi does. Any other questions?
Anyone else have questions? I'm sure they come up, but
Yeah.
I hope I didn't offend anyone in the martial arts community.
Yeah. This is all. We're just martial arts nerds having our martial art thought experiments and fantasy. So we'll see what you come up with down the line with what your mix of martial art will look like, and that'll be fun. And you guys too. All right. So thanks for helping.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. See you next time.